Sorry for your loss.
Thanks.
I know you must have been shocked, but were you surprised?
Shock was definitely the first thing. I was playing a gig in Buenos Aires about 2 weeks previous, and he was in Buenos Aires for some reason, and we met up. We had a chat. He came around to my hotel room in the daytime, and we had a coffee, and then he came to the gig, and he came to the gig that night then. He was in the dressing room before, and then, yeah, he came to the show. Jeez, it was great to see Liam. Tour ends then. I finished in Colombia. Then about a week later, went home. I was only home about after a big long stint on the road. End of the tour. And then I was just at home one night. Don't know what day of the week it was. Can't remember. And just looked down at my phone. I'd gotten a text. I was just about to go to sleep, and, you know, and the phone lights up and you have a look, one last look. And I was just pure shock. And I knew he'd had a couple of issues, but because I wasn't around him like I was previous years all the time. I didn't realise to what extent or anything like that. I knew there was some stuff going on, but I wasn't aware of the depth. And then you go through why, the stages of grief that I probably really haven't, like, touched the sides on yet. You know, I grew up with this fella, and all of a sudden, just, it's no more. It's such a strange thing. You go through, like, what could I have done if I'd known more? Should I have dug more into it? Like, could I have talked to other people to get an angle on it? Like, you can go through all sorts of stuff. And because I'd seen him the couple of weeks previous, and I was a bit kind of like, Jesus, yeah.
And I imagine you have great memories of
Stop.
when you were having the crack and everyone was safe.
Yeah.
So there can be a thing, though, I can't there, of sometimes when somebody self-destructs or something in a way, you can kind of see patterns that... That's what I was asking you about the shock, but that the surprise maybe wasn't as big as the shock or something. You know?
Yeah, I think just looking down at your phone, that's shock. And, like, then stupidly turning on Sky News and then going, and then the next channel, and CNN and BBC and RT News, and the whole world is talking about it like it's the biggest breaking news on the planet at that minute. And I found it like, because I was in the pictures with him on Sky News, I found that very weird. Well, your man beside me, him there. You know, that's a strange one. I don't think I've gotten my head around it at all, really. As I said, I shared a room with him at one of those stages at the X Factor. Like, I've known him since I was 16 years old, and all of a sudden he's 32, and yeah. I also just, like, kept thinking of his little son and things like that.
Was there part of the coverage that you found very distasteful and hard to deal with? Was there a lot of judgment stuff going on? You know the way people love to, these days, give out about other people and be the moral authority.
Yeah.
Was that difficult to, or were you good at avoiding it?
I have to say, after I made the mistake of turning it on the first time, because when I first turned it on, it was the shock, the fans, you know, on the TV, people that had worked with us doing interviews, it was all of that stuff. And then, like, I just remember going, no, I'm not doing that. I can't go any further than this because I've got a funeral to go to and things like that. I can't be, like, worrying about what they're going to say next because, like, I have my own grief to deal with. Like, how am I going to deal with this? The phases of. And then, yeah, like, if there's all that stuff is kind of irrelevant to me because I also have memories. Like, I want to think about them in that way rather than the crap they're going to talk.
I feel it off you, you know, the sadness of it.
I think it's because I just haven't wrapped my own head around it. It's a weird thing to be going through at 30-something, that someone 2 weeks older than you can just be here today, gone tomorrow.
How many albums have you released since One Direction?